Hey there, this is Brad with Asphalt Seal Coating Direct, and this is going to be a troubleshooting video for the folks that bought heat lances, and I get a lot of calls over the summer, you know, that people have used them and then they put them away for a couple of months and they come back and they either won't start or they don't run right. And so we're going to go over several of the things that could be the case, minor things that you can check to make sure that your heat lance is working properly. Curtis, we know the first thing, this heat lance runs at 2800 RPM, right?
That's right. The engine runs at 2800 RPMs, Brad.
So is it important? Okay, in the instructions, in the book, it talks about starting the engine and bringing this lever up to full speed. It's important probably to understand not to push this so hard that it bends.
That's right. Don't push it so hard that it bends. It just moves right easy to a stop, and it should be there. And
it's already been set at factory at 2800 RPM.
It's preset at 2800 RPMs right off the engine's main crankshaft, which is right here.
Okay, so if somebody wants to check the RPM of their engine, they're going to have a tachometer.
They're going to have a handheld tachometer.
Yep, and I know those are available, and that just goes right on the crankshaft when you're running the engine, and that's pretty much got to be exact, doesn't it? 2800 RPM? 2850
RPMs.
Okay, 2850. All right, so let's say they got that and they checked it and it's 2850 RPM. What's the next thing? The belt, maybe?
Well, the belt, to ensure that the compressor's actually turning at the proper RPMs, and check that tension, a ½ inch. If it's looser than that, it could be slipping. If it is looser than that, then we simply tighten up the belt.
And how do you tighten that belt up?
Brad, the belt is tightened on the back side, and you'll see two push-pull bolts on the back side. Let me get out of the shade. And you just simply loosen the jam nuts, and you raise the lower bolts up until the belt is a ½ inch of tension. Retighten the top two nuts, and you're set.
Okay. So they've done that. Let's talk about propane. And the reason I want to talk about this is because this happens to be an older bottle that we're using, but the newer bottles do use a check valve in the bottle, and if you turn the bottle on too quickly, it shuts that propane off, doesn't it?
It does, and it does not allow any propane to travel at that point.
So it's probably what I advise my customers to do whenever they're trying to figure out why their heat lance won't light. Before they even start the compressor, I have them turn the bottle on slowly and see if there's gas coming out the end of the lance.
That's right, and do that with the engine not running, so everything is nice and quiet. You can hear it flowing and you can smell it. So you just get this up here, kind of open this very slowly, and you can hear the propane coming out right away. Plus, of course, it smells like rotten eggs.
Right, okay. The regulator, of course, when they ship from the factory, they're preset, but I know outdoor temperature makes that change. Also, atmospheric pressure can make that change. And so it's possible they're going to have to adjust this often whenever they're using the heat lance, isn't it?
That's right. Even on a continuous temperature day, the liquid temperature of the propane changes as you use it, and that's why if you've noticed frost ever showing up on the side of the bottle, that's because it is boiling inside, and that's not a bad thing. It just means the pressures are changing. So what you have to do is you may have to constantly make slight adjustments. Reset your lock and keep running.
Where's a good place to start from a cold start on this knob? Is there a good place to start, I should say? We used to say there was a ½ inch between the bottom of the knob and the top of the regulator, but that's changed now.
That's changed, and for the most part, you can go between a 1/4 and a ½ of an inch, and if you're in that range, it should start. With the engine running and your lock unlocked, just simply move the knob while you're pressing the igniter on the wand torch. Just small increments like that until the igniter lights.
So I see you moving it just maybe a 1/4 inch at a time.
Just a 1/4 inch at a time, and you can do it roughly at that intervals. You don't have to wait long periods of time, just every couple seconds.
Okay. Now, at the same time, they're holding their button down on their igniter, right?
That's right.
And if you've got the older heat lance that doesn't have the electronic ignition, or you've got the junior model with the standard piezo ignition, they're going to have to continually push that button in sequential at the same rate that they're turning this regulator, right?
That's right. And you can do that while it's sitting in the holster up here, and you just press the button as you're making your propane adjustments.
Okay, until they hear that popping sound.
Until you hear the popping sound.
Okay. Of course, the last thing that I advise people on is to check the spark plug gap and to take the heat lance barrel apart, and we'll have pictures on that available too, and some assistance to help you understand how that all comes apart and how it goes back together. But there is some problematic things that can happen inside that barrel, that dirt and other things that can make things happen to where it wouldn't light, right?
That's right, yeah, especially when you're not using this thing during the winter months, possibly as bugs or maybe even a wasps or something could crawl inside there. And there's a couple of small orifices in the top of this mixing chamber which will very easily get plugged by the bugs themselves, or if you've had the hose disconnected, you can see the openings there. It'd be very easy for dirt or something like that to get in there and create an issue.
That's all got to be cleaned out. So this what do you call this piece here again?
This is the barrel, or this is the mixing chamber, and this is what we refer to as the barrel.
Okay, and I see a spark plug in here too. Okay.
And the wire, and it feeds back up to the electronic piezo or igniter.
Okay, what's the gap on that spark plug?
70 thousandths.
Which is huge.
Which is huge.
And that's about the thickness of a nickel, isn't it?
That's real close to the thickness of a nickel.
So if they didn't have something to gap it that wide, they can use a nickel and get pretty close.
Yes, just use a small screwdriver and pry that open until it's the thickness of a nickel.
Of course, we always advise that's the last thing to do, is to take the barrel apart, but if they have to take it apart and clean it up, use anti-seize to put all the parts back together.
Yes, reassemble everything with anti-seize, and you can see some residuals of it right here in those crevices, but put everything together with anti-seize. This thing operates at approximately 24 to 2600 degrees, and those parts get hot. If you don't put anti-seize on there, they're going to seize up.
So talk to me about this tachometer. This is a tool that you need to buy to maintain a machine like this, but where do they get a tachometer? Like at an auto parts store?
You can get these at just about any local auto parts store. It's just got a rubber tip on the back side, and it spins, as you can see the RPM showing there a little bit. Okay. And you place that on the shaft while it's running, and it'll give you the actual readout of what your RPMs are.
Could we go ahead and start it and show our viewers how to do this?
Absolutely, go ahead. So
I can see where that would be important to every once in a while just check it, making sure that it's running the right speed.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And it's that easy to set, or to check, excuse me. It's that easy to check. If you have to adjust it, that's easily done on the back side of the motor, just below the carburetor. What you want to do is pull this.
They got to pull the air cleaner cover off, looks like.
Okay, pull this air cleaner cover off, and with the screwdriver just right underneath here, you just make small changes until you have your RPMs set. Come around the other side, you check your RPMs, and then make your adjustment.
Okay.